welcome to Twitch Hour on For Later, aka Bits.
Over the next 30 minutes, a flurry of video games will settle delicately into your lap.
As well as some cheats and a competition.
So if you can't be doing with the pen and paper, press record on your videos now.
On tonight's show, we're sneaking around in Metal Gear Solid special missions, we're hanging out in the boys' locker room in FA Premier League Football Manager 2000, and we're stomping our feet in Dance Dance Revolution.
First, Alex is feeling a bit unreal.
When Unreal was released in May of 1998, it changed the face of the first-person shooter forever. Its formula has been copied by countless developers. Its engine is the basis of shoot-a-thons, team-based strategies, and even a role-playing game. But there was one place where Unreal fell flat on its face. The multiplayer options sucked. Enter Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament's a massive game with 45 different levels, but a feeble plot tying it all together. You and your team are fighting the scum of the universe to attain the crown of Unreal Grand Master. Your first choice is what mode to play. There are 5 different ones in Unreal Tournament, starting with the gigantic 32-level deathmatch. Kill as many bad guys or adjust victory conditions so its number of frags or hits in a time limit. It's kind of like laser tag in a virtual world. Last Man Standing is self-explanatory. Capture the Flag is exactly like the Playground game. Assault modes where one team's looking to complete an objective and the other's trying to stop them. Domination mode is played between 2 and 4 teams competing for special control points scattered around the levels. Well, if all this seems great to you, fret not, because there's a handy tutorial mode at the beginning of every single level, which makes it an ideal starting point for those people who've always wanted to try a first-person shooter but were too afraid to ask. It takes you through every mode, teaches you the controls, tests out your ability with the keyboard and mouse, and introduces you to the weapons cabinet. You're a killer, dude. You've got all the toys from the original Unreal souped up with some serious steroids. The minigun's been updated, thankfully, so now you can see where the bullets are coming from. You can John Woo it with a 2-handed automag power-up. Hit someone with the impact hammer and watch him explode into flaming bloody chunks. Short range only. But don't wear your favorite shirt. Finally, the mid-range pulse gun's nice-looking rapid plasma fire is cool, but gimmicky. Unreal Tournament is a standalone single-player game where you're in charge of a bunch of computer-controlled robots, or a ginormous multiplayer game teaming up or competing with your networking mates. The AI's been upped so the bots won't be dumbfounded by lifts and stairways. Order your guys around using a simple user interface. The optional extras are the best bit. Play the game versus easy or hardcore bots in the single-player mode, adjust the level of difficulty in the various levels, or launch into an internet game as a spectator, watching through a cam or through a player, just to get the feel before jumping in yourself. Quake 3 Arena's coming out soon. Unreal, although it revolutionized the genre, lost a lot of face with its previous multiplayer flop. The Quake team have an amazing pedigree with absolutely no duds on its roster. Unreal Tournament looks better than the other internet team-based games already out there, and it gives you some nifty options. It's a bit daunting, though, that the top team games on the internet are based on the Quake 2 engine. Unreal is nowhere to be seen. For a gander at the competition, well, why not go online with your PC version of Quake 2, or you can play it on the N64. Also, Team Fortress is out there. It's the add-on for Half-Life, and it's got more online clans than you could shake a stick at. For a look at the game that started it all off, Doom is available on your PlayStation, N64, or your PC. But check out the multiplayer enhancement of the game that shook it all up. Unreal Tournament is available on August 27th.
There has always been one crucial thing missing from console games. They never really challenge you physically. Shooters are thumb, thumb, thumb. Beat-em-ups are thumb, thumb, thumb. It's all buttons, no action. But check this.
Yeah, come on! Make it hot. Dance, dance, revolution.
Konami, who has already been hugely successful with DJ Sim Beatmania in Japan, is now sending over another beat-busting game called Dance Dance Revolution for PlayStation. Like Beatmania, it all began in the arcade. No, this is not another Buster Move clone. It's not even a dancing simulation, cause this time you're actually dancing for real. Sort of.
Okay.
Like the arcade version, the game uses this smart controller. It's just a floor mat that plugs right into your PlayStation, and from here on, all your selecting is done by foot. On screen, Dance Dance Revolution plays much like old faves Beatmania or Parappa the Rapper. Commands come in the form of arrows flying up, and you have to hit the corresponding buttons. If Parappa's hip-hopping dog had you battering your thumbs, Dance Dance Revolution will have you flailing your legs. It's Twister on drugs. From Tokyo to Nagasaki, arcades are full of Japanese salarymen dancing out their tensions. Well, to look a little bit cooler than them, take my tip. Stick to the middle of the mat and step out and in as required.
Now here it is, one to make you move.
The most important thing about the game is that you actually attempt to get some kind of performance going. Easier said than done. Throwing your feet around doesn't mean that you've become the lord of the dance.
Okay. I got a little something that'll tease you. Let's heat it up this number. Ready?
Which brings me to the music. Unlike Beatmania, this game actually features tunes from well-known artists like Bus Stop's Kung Fu Fighting or Casey and the Sunshine Band's That's the Way I Like It. Each song is labeled with a grading about how difficult it is to perform. And as you might have noticed, this game has a lot of 70s stuff in it. This game is best enjoyed in multiplayer. You can hook up another man to the PlayStation and invite a friend to a one-on-one dance-off. No need for split screen. One sticks to the left commands, the other to the right. And if you get to know the moves really well, you might even be able to stage a special performance next time you're down the arcade. And yes, Konami have launched the arcade version in the UK. It's called Dancing Stage. It's probably worth getting some practice in at home beforehand. This is a top game and a bit of a workout as well. It's an obvious party choice and might even replace karaoke. Dance Dance Revolution is out for PlayStation next year.
Yeah. 6 months ago, after a long wait, Metal Gear Solid launched to mass acclaim. Konami's Sneak and Peek 'em Up had captured the imagination of the gaming generation. Now there's a follow-up of sorts, and it's called Metal Gear Solid Special Missions. This add-on is not a whole new mission as hoped, but a more in-depth look at the versatility of our man Snake and his arsenal. If you completed every practice move on the first game, you'll love this, as there are 300 new mini virtual reality missions to test your skill on. Solid Snake is once again transported to the weirdly green and luminescent world of VR to put his mettle to the test. The opening missions are strictly stealth-based. After these, there are lots of lovely weapons waiting for you, including the Stinger, SOCOM, FAMAS, sniper rifle, grenades, C4, and even Claymore mines. Each weapon has 5 missions ascending in order of difficulty. You'll have to be pretty proficient to get through all of these without dying, but it's not that hard once you get going. The Nikita missions are probably the hardest, as those radio-controlled missiles can be pretty tricky at times. Once you've completed the practice round with each weapon, you can move on to the time attack. Good times will earn you the praise of Naomi, the bird back at the base, but it also enables you to progress onto the next level, the much harder and much cooler special missions. This is where the fun really starts. You begin with a 1-minute battle where you have to pick off as many targets as possible before the time's up. You'll have to complete this with each weapon before you can progress. There are some great levels in this section, including a versus 12-man battle, a mystery level, puzzle one, and best of all, you actually get to play as the ninja, and you can't get much better than that now, can you? I won't reveal all, but there's some spectacular gameplay in there, well worth shelling out the cash for. So, you're now officially a Metal Gear hotshot. What do you do now? Well, Konami have been kind enough to include another section altogether, which includes viewing films and a photography course. Curious? Well, there's to be 3 films, but the early code I received only had 1, and that was in Japanese, so I can't tell you what he's saying. This is the intro FMV film that was shown at the Spring '98 Tokyo Game Show. And thankfully, my favourite bit's still in there, when Snake gets in the lift and strips. And yes, girls, I'm sure you'll all be pleased to hear that Snake's packet is as large as ever. Fantastic. The boys aren't neglected either, of course. You'll be able to take pictures of the apparently delectable young Miss Naomi. There are two different types of shot, her stood up or her sat down at her computer. Very moneypenny. Unlike other games that have add-ons, you won't actually need the original to play this. You'll be able to simply load it up and play away. None of that disc-swapping nonsense here. The Special Missions Pack is strictly for the gamer parched for more of the same.
Word has it that Hideo Kojima is currently working on a full sequel for the PlayStation 2. Rumour also has it, though, that he's preparing one for the old grey box that we all know and love. If you can't wait for either of these games, then this is the one for you. Metal Gear Solid Special Missions comes out in October for your PlayStation.
Hello, it's time to divine some cheats. And with the help of the mystical Claudia, we will attempt to bring you a voluptitude of codes for your PC, PlayStation, and N64, wreaking havoc all the way. First up is your opportunity to join Beavis and Butthead, America's favorite dimwits at university. Beavis and Butthead Do You takes the idiotic, twosome, sex-deprived and all through hours of hilarious dialogue on your PC. If you can't be bothered taking them through their idiotic adventures, well, watch the game play all by itself. When you're in the game, type in Go Santa, press F2 and select Exit to Debug Mode. Then select Unit Tests and then Game Walkthrough. It's just like watching the TV show.
If you're still living in '97 and can't get enough of Ginger, Scary, Sporty, Baby and Posh, then get big with the Spice Girls, because we've got huge versions of yesterday's pop stars in Spice World on the PlayStation. And let's face it, who could resist a humongous version of Victoria? At the menu where a Spice walks across the planet, hold down the start button and press circle, square, and they will indeed be the biggest pop stars in the world.
Take a ride on the PlayStation with Colin McRae Rally. Don't want to be taken too seriously? Well, neither do we. We prefer micro machines to heavy-duty tailpipe action. So here's how to shrink all those serious Colin McRae cars. When in expert difficulty mode, choose Rally or Time Trial option and enter your name as Diddy Cars. Watch those minis vroom and zoom.
Time to put the dog to bed and make yourself a cuppa, because after the break, we're taking control of the entire universe.
...2000 at Lum Poly.
With so much Star Wars hype going around, we here at Bits thought it's the right time to give you a peek at one of the most promising space strategy empire building games of the year. It comes from Hungarian developers Digital Reality, who have produced a sequel to the not-so-known Imperium Galactica. The new Imperium Galactica 2 is due for release on PC this December. It looks truly gigantic and promises to cater for those of you with immense delusions of power. Your mission will be to get hold of research material about a superhuman army that has been scattered around all over the universe. Here you can take on 3 roles which will follow different paths to victory. Choose the humans and you will use traditional methods of spying and building. Or take on the act of the politicals and you find yourself involved in black market missions like piracy. Finally, there are also the brutals, who will completely focus on warfare. Whatever choice you make at this moment, it looks like you will be able to explore some 80 planets, build and equip ships, and even fight some real-time 3D battles both out in space and down on the planets. What seems to be truly amazing, even in this early preview, is the strategy interface and the gorgeously rendered craft. It all looks so smooth, and I just love the way you will be able to select and manipulate the objects you want to work on. Also, look at those camera moves. Crash zooming onto a planet or battle scene from outer space will lend a very immediate and controllable feel to this game. Imperium Galactica 2 also promises to come with a multiplayer option with up to 6 players hooked up to the internet via LAN. Imperium Galactica 2 for PC is out for release in December.
I was lucky enough to attend the launch of the new Dreamcast ads at the BAFTA building in London. For those of you who've seen Star Wars, you may have already caught the ads, as they've been doing the commercial merry-go-round. For those of you who haven't, here's a glimpse. Notice the Levi style influences? Crucially enough, they followed Sony into the lifestyle approach. But the concept of billions of players coming together to game is currently a Dreamcast-only boast based on the console's online gaming capabilities.
We all play games. Why don't we play together?
But, and it's a big but, why did they have to use that voice? I mean, didn't it remind you of that old ad, "We want to be together"? Personally, it kind of spoilt it for me. Rumour had it that Robbie Williams would turn up, having supplied his music, but alas no. There was, however, bigger fish to fry as I got to play Sega's absolutely fantastic Get Bass, with the peripheral, a sort of stunted fishing rod with a reel. It's totally addictive, and I'm pleased to say I caught a whopper.
Once upon a time, people created war. Tom Clancy decided to fictionalize it and created war books and war movies. And then in late 1998, hit upon the landmine of war games, Rainbow Six, a PC combat simulation based on his award-winning novel. It combined the fragging adrenaline of Quake and Unreal, but added an immersive, plot-driven strategic element that the traditional first-person shooters lacked. The game was a massive hit on the PC, so it's no surprise that it's porting on over to the PlayStation for mass-market butt-kicking fun.
At long last, station owners get the chance to play a multi-character war game that doesn't involve tiny little pixelated characters running around a desert looking for hiding terrorists. We got hold of some preview code, and I have to say the PC graphics have been faithfully reproduced on the PlayStation. Undoubtedly, if you were to put the two side by side, there would be a noticeable difference. There always is, but play it on the console on its own merits, and I think you'll find it very satisfying indeed. Probably because the graphics engine has been totally rewritten from the ground up. Once again, it's another game to make full use of the analog controller. Each joystick has a different use and you can press them down for added functions. I love it. This is one hardcore strategy action player, truly immersive and very frustrating at times, but it's about as real as you can get, including your characters dying. If they die, and there's no miraculous recovery for future missions. PlayStation owners have long been spoilt with easy access and instant gameplay. Well, this time you're going to have to sweat for your pleasure. And you know what? I think you're going to like it.
The most revolutionary combination of intense action and real-life strategy ever created for the PlayStation. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. It's time to save the world, one mission at a time.
What the hell was with that ad? That is the worst piece of promotional material I have ever seen in my entire life. That disgraces America, and it disgraces Rainbow Six.
Play as if 5.7 billion lives depended on it. Beware, coward.
There must be 24 football management games out there already. They come in all shapes and sizes and usually do well in the games charts. Well, guess what? Here comes another one. FA Premier League Football Manager 2000. Woo! Yeah. Come on, Gary. Come on, talk to each other. Oh, yes! Now you can put your fantasy team together. You'll take over a football club and manage it up to the ultimate prize, the League Trophy. This game will be available for PC and PlayStation. Both versions feature genuine clubs and players. You really feel like having a say about the wheeling and dealings of the footy world. You can buy, sell or transfer players or draw up a specialized training schedule for them. It's all about making the best out of what you've got. Certain player formations will increase your chances of winning a game. Observe how well these formations do and then make changes accordingly. Not happy with some of the players? Just get rid of them. It's weird to think that some people actually get paid to do this. Also, choosing the right support staff will make a difference. Getting the best people might be costly, but well worth the extra dosh. And there's also the administrative aspect of running a club with cash flows to adjust and accounts to match. If all of this is starting to sound appealing, then you must be a total football freak. The kind of guy who sits with a pint in the corner of the pub, staring off blankly as he loses himself in footy contemplations. Personally, I was bored out of my brains. I definitely reached my peak after an hour and a half. And why not put some more fun into this game? It's all so serious. Football isn't like that, is it? How about some tabloid news on a player's honeymoon clashing with your training regime, or some scandal about drink and drugs? Now, that would be a real management sim, as any manager would tell you. Which brings me to the actual matches of the game. You can prepare your team for the big day and find out as much as you want about your opponents. Then you have various options. You can just get the result instantly without watching the game, watch a high-speed game in fast mode, or watch the whole game normally. You can even interrupt to change your strategy. This preview still had a bit of work to go on the gameplay option, so in terms of graphics, I have to reserve judgment until I see the final version. For anyone who loves to play God on the field, this game is well worth the wait until it's released in September. For me, I'm looking for another position.
Beware, coward.
Well, with games becoming much more popular in the mainstream market, their influence has extended to the world of fashion, to the world of music, and even to the world of architectural design. And with me today is the head artist at the Leeds office of Signosis, Nikki Westcott. Now, you were the lead artist on the Wipeout series. Now, what does it feel like to be part of something so significant that's changed the industry?
When we finished Wipeout 1, we stood outside a shop and saw this big poster with Ridge Racer and with Wipeout, and there was Destruction Derby and Tekken, and just thought, oh my God, look, there it is, it's up there with the big ones.
Doing FMV, right? Now that is a completely different process. How? How do you do FMV?
How do you do it?
Yeah, quick, in 25 words or less.
You think, you draw, you shuffle it around a little bit and do some music, and that's it. But in-game stuff is much more like, how many colours can I do this, and what can I do this, you know, like what size.
Are you aware of anybody out there who still uses pen and ink and then scans everything in?
Always look for people who draw. You know, I mean, it's just one of those things that you just can't get away from. Even if you use a computer all day long, you've still got to be able to really have an eye for what you're doing.
How about texture mapping as well? Because you find a lot of times people search out certain imagery and then stick it in, just scan it in and stick it into the game.
Yeah, that really stands out.
Oh, so, is that going back to the old the old 2D graphics then?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like to see people who've got ideas of their own, really.
Where do you see gameplay going? Because now it's moving towards FMV, isn't it?
And everybody's been saying for years it's going to go really filmic, it's going to go really cinematic. Everybody thinks that, you know, things are going to go beyond our wildest dreams, and I don't think technology's that fantastic yet.
Thanks, Nikki. Wipeout 3 is coming out in September.
Quake.
And this week we're chock-a-block with Peripherals A Go-Go to make your gaming experience a heck of a lot easier.
And one lucky gamer is going to win an out-of-this-world collection of PC strategy guides, including Star Wars Episode 1 games, X-Wing Alliance, and the killer Alien vs Predator.
And you'll also win this handy Logitech cordless keyboard, which means you'll be able to game in any position you want.
All you have to do to win is tackle this easy strategic challenge.
Tell us what strategy you're going to use to convince us that you want to win this prize.
Simply email us at bitsonforlater@yahoo.co.uk, and remember, it has to be in by midnight on August 11th.
So get strategizing!
Beware, coward.